Hi everyone, it's Tony Tonkin here from Things That Matter. Glad you could be with me for this brief chat. Don't know how long it's going to take, but there again, I never do. So hope you enjoy this opportunity to share some ideas with me about things that matter to all of us. And in particular, I'm actually concerned. So this is one of those feeds where I decided at the spur of the moment, I'm pissed off, so I'm going to send out a message to everybody, just letting you know how annoyed I really am. Not that many of you actually will care too much about the degree to which I'm feeling distressed, but I'm here nevertheless. And the reason why I'm feeling so distressed is that recently, as of like 10 minutes ago, I was going through my Facebook feed, which is something I should learn not to do because it's stressful, it builds up an anxiety in me which is most uncomfortable, and I start to feel hate and resentment to almost everybody when I go to my Facebook feed sometimes, and I wonder why it is that I've accumulated so many terrible people on Facebook. So a lot of people, I think that I'm extremely right-wing for some particular reason, or they like me because I run a political party, or they just think I'm a dickhead and they want to get under my skin. Because if you do believe that going on my Facebook page and wanting me to like you, well, if you think that that's because I'm a jerk, you're probably right. So just let me know if you're gonna connect with me on Facebook. Please let me know that you've connected and that you are wanting to have a go at me, or you want to annoy me, because I'm actually really concerned that there are so many people breeding a sense of hate. Now, I need to say that I'm a pacifist, right? So because I tend to believe in progressive politics, I guess, and change, and what is better for all of us, not just the wealthy and the well-connected. And because I believe that everybody has the right to feel successful and to experience what it is like to be heard, to be listened to be understood, that makes me progressive. And if that's the case, so be it. Am I progressive to the point whereby I want to pull down structures and organisations and change the system dramatically? No, I'm not. I do believe that we need to be mindful of climate, and we need to work to a better environment so that our kids can have a place that they can feel comfortable living in, or have a place to live in at all. I think those are important issues. I think that there should be a greater sense of social justice and fairness in this community. I'm a great believer in those people that don't have a voice, and that there are many things that need to change in our society, big time, some really important things. But one of the things that's concerning me the most, I think, is the hate that is out there. The fact that there are people spewing the most venomous and toxic hate towards others. And look, I don't care, if you're right wing and you're doing all the right things and you just have a point of view, I love to hear it. Let us know what your point of view is. More than happy to take it on board. I'll question it. I wonder why it is you think what you do. But at the end of the day, I am going to listen to you. Except I must confess that recently on some of the posts that were on my Facebook feed, I decided not to listen to you. I just put in there, you're a dickhead and please go away. The best strategy may have been just to unfollow them, which I will be doing later, I can assure you. And there'll be a lot of them. So I've gone from, I'm about to lose probably 1,000. Oh, who cares? Who cares about Facebook, for Christ's sake? I don't do Twitter. I look at my Twitter feed. I don't do anything on it, So the only thing I do is kind of this, and child protection issues, and sometimes the Riley Foundation. But the reality is that there are people breeding fear and toxicity in not just America, but here in Australia, all over the COVID stuff. And look, I'm not in a position to say that I can't say 100% that COVID's a thing. I believe that it is in something that's about. I looked at the stats, and the stats will tell us that it is a thing. But I'm not a scientist. I don't know to what degree it's a thing. I don't know how it's going to necessarily impact all of our lives forever. I don't think anybody necessarily knows any of that. I think that there is an effort to be able to protect the community. So I asked myself this question. If COVID-19 happened in, let's say, all the states, in the United States and all the states here in Australia were run by right-wing politicians, would the outcome be the same as it is in the United States, given that place is run by Trump? Would we have, the type of experience that we're having in Victoria here in Australia, where it blew way out of control? It's now getting a bit better, I think. But would that situation, if that was occurring everywhere else, would we be doing the same? Would we be experiencing an epidemic that is sweeping through our communities and destroying lives and literally taking lives? So to what extent do we need to kind of at least understand that this is not something that we can dismiss? That COVID-19, as terrible as it is probably here to stay. Are we happy about that? Do we want to, I'm not too thrilled by the fact that, I don't think I'll be able to go up and see my daughter in Queensland and give birth to a child, because it looks like they might be shutting down the borders. Am I disadvantaged? Was I disadvantaged when COVID-19 first hit in February and March? Yeah, I was, because I had to work from home and I couldn't go and see people. Did I mind that too much? No, I kind of enjoyed being at home, I must confess. So that wasn't too bad. But, how bad are things going to get? Well, they're going to get much worse. Not because of COVID-19, I hasten to add, but because there are people out there that are suggesting that, number one, it doesn't exist, just like, the cancer is caused by 5G networks, and that microwaves could listen to our conversation, all that sort of crap's going on. So, but these people are now getting to a point whereby they're going to start to attack everybody. So if you don't believe what they believe, and if you're not on their side of the fence, then you're going to be set upon by them, and they are coming after us. And I think now that is a real threat to all of us. To all of us. And I don't even think they're a majority. I was watching a video where this guy, ironically, had a mask on, and he had his voice muffled and everything. And he was telling us how we're being taken over and all this sort of stuff. I think, man, if you were really an honest and transparent individual, you wouldn't be doing a blacked out video with your mask on and your muffled voice, And then how? So who does any of this serve? This is a really interesting question, which I'm still puzzled about. Who's benefiting from disruption and discord? Like we can disagree, right? We can have different points of view, and that's fine. But when it gets to a point whereby we're fighting almost with each other, and that we're heading down a path of so much civil unrest that the fabric of our society will start to fall apart, and we'll have one side blaming the other. And it looks, I was watching this thing where they were telling us how this is fascism, referring to the left. I see, in my view, humble as it is, I see the right wing particularly attacking the left and goading them into fights that wind up with people dying. And what we're going to see in the United States, and possibly later here in Australia, are people dying totally unnecessarily because one side has to be right and one side has to dominate over the other. And my fear is that the people that who haven't got the authority but have got the guns will take to the streets and just start killing people randomly, and then chaos will break out and the fabric of our society will be shredded forever. We can't, we can sit back. I guess we can sit back and choose to do nothing. This is why I do these videos. I accept that no one watches them, but but at least I guess, I want to work with people to bring about. My life has always been about working with people to bring about better outcomes, so that they can lead better lives. I'm not in the business of destroying other people's lives, ripping them apart. Who is? Who would want to be that sort of person where you wantonly destroy others? I don't understand it. So we need to demand peace. We need to make sure that everything we do is about not breeding hate or fear. So there's these ideas that somehow one side is going to take away our liberties. Man, if your liberties were taken away, you wouldn't be sitting up there with your megaphone, shouting and screaming and doing whatever it is you need to do. Or in the United States, regretfully, if you had your liberties taken off you, you wouldn't be able to carry guns. Does that mean we in Australia, where we don't carry guns, are more under the thumb of our authoritarian right-wing government? Don't think so. So what are we going to do about it? Well, I think there's only one thing that we can do. Speak up. Let people know that you don't believe in violence. That violence in and of itself never resolves a problem. Never. That it leads to more and more violence, to the point whereby people die. Innocent people die. Is that what we want? Do we want young men to die? Are we over all of that? We've sent young men to war for years. These young men that stand up, that are Trump's allies, that stand up with guns and with their fancy vehicles and drive through city streets and disrupt people and disrupt innocent, calm, appropriate protests. Do those people know what they're attempting to do and how it will affect others and may even mean that their own life is lost? And their life may not be lost necessarily by being killed, but they may kill somebody else, find themselves in jail and locked away for the rest of their lives. Or they may randomly shoot and kill a woman or child. Is this fight worth all of that? Given that it's based on no information whatsoever, primarily based on conspiracy theories that are unfounded, and it's based on the hate of someone who thinks differently to you. Now, if you're watching this and you consider yourself right-wing, then, it's okay. You can hate me if you like, it's not going to impact me. You can have a discussion with me and I'll listen to your views because that's what I do. But, like killing somebody, what does that achieve? What has it ever achieved? Destroying someone's home, and I don't care which side of the political fence you're on, but burning property that doesn't belong to you is an horrendous thing to do and is something that people should simply stop doing. I understand if you're angry. I've worked with angry men for 30 years. I know what anger looks like. I know how people feel. But that's your shit. That's no one else's. Anger and your emotions, that's your stuff. That's you. That's your issue. Right? We don't need to impose our feelings in that way upon somebody else. We don't need to act in ways, behave in ways that's going to hurt other people and even take their lives. We don't need to do that. Us as a species have an incredible gift, and it's language. If we've got something to say because we feel that the system is unjust, then we need to say it and do something about it. Not spill any blood, not yell or scream abuse at others, even though I did call a guy a dickhead today, I must confess. And it isn't, I'm not going to give a talk to you about loving thy neighbour, because it's really hard to do if you kind of hate yourself. And a lot of people out there, I think, do. I don't think so doing something about changing your situation sort of exemplifies itself in some of these behaviours where you've been so aggrieved, and rightfully so. Many of the people I work with, they have grievances and they have anger and it is justified anger. I understand it. And sometimes we need to change systems. But violence and aggression does not do that. It diminishes who we are. Hatred breeds more hatred. Fear breeds more fear. Do we want our kids to grow up feeling afraid that they can go out at night, or any time for that matter, and be safe? No, we don't. We don't want our kids to have a sense of anxiety and stress that determines how they feel about everything, that determines how they interpret their world. No, we don't. But that is the world we're creating until we make a stand, until we change some of these terrible things that are happening. Now, I've spoken for 18 minutes, and that's probably enough. So I just want to say to everybody, if you can do it safely, just go out and hug somebody. Look around you at those people that do love you and think how precious that is. How precious family is, or your kids, or your parents. Just remember, these are the people that love you. And in your world, that's what's important. There's other stuff, the injustices, inequities, unfairness. That can be resolved if we all get together and just have a chat. The problem is, we need to find a way just to get together. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care of yourself. Catch up with you next time. Bye.